So boys, basically before this video starts, it's going to be a controversial one. I just wanted to say that this is no hate towards BSG. I'm not here to stem drama or cause issues in the community. This video has been made because over the past 2 years of streaming Tarkov and making content for it, been very privileged to be able to do that, by the way, so I also appreciate you guys for supporting that. I do feel like this video needs to be made now, as like there's a lot of drama in the community and things are just spiraling out of control. And I've honestly been wanting to make it for a while, but I've never really found the right time to do it because it's very sensitive and it can cause a lot of drama and stuff like that. But I do think now that there's a lot of talk in the community going on with issues and all these other stuff, I think it's a great time to drop a video and give some points to what I'm on about and the way I felt with the game and stuff like that. So we are going to get into it in just a second, but like I said, I just wanted to tell you guys that this video isn't to cause any drama. It's to offer a solution and talk about things and give you guys examples of things that I think are affecting the game negatively, and maybe something that could BSG could take from this and implement into the game, which I do think they could. So let's get into it. Okay, so what are we talking about? Okay, so 2 years ago, BSG made a massive change, actually. Probably one of the biggest changes the game's had over the past few years. And it's not that a feature that everyone plays the game for, you know. You don't just log on and be like, oh, this is a feature I wanted to test out. It's actually a feature that was designed for cheaters and to prevent real money transfer. If you guys don't know what real money transfer is, it's where you pay rubles to buy gear, rubles, any sort of in-game transaction, even a carry service or a quest or some sort of tracksuit like the killer tracksuit, any sort of thing like that where people pay money for you to do that service for them. Okay, RMT extends all the way from like rubles all the way up to, like I said, carry services and quest runs and account recoveries and stupid shit like that. So basically RMT was a Fenrir was a system that was implemented purely for that reason. Now, I do think there's a lot of intent behind it as well for just a bit more hardcore feeling for the game, because there was a lot of other issues, which I'll get into later on in this video. But yeah, the Fenrir system, okay? So I remember the day that that system got added to Tarkov, and I remember saying to my chat, at the time, I think I had 100 average viewers, and I said to my chat, I was like, I think this could be a very bad change for the game, and I think in the future, it's going to really take a toll on Tarkov. Now, 2 years later, here we are. I think after all of the changes that we've had and all of the RMT restrictions that have come over the years, I think it's led to the point we're at now, and it's causing a lot of drama in the community, a lot of negativity, which Tarkov's a negative game. You're always going to have that sense of negativity regardless, but I think these changes are a massive like festa on the community, and it's because of the RMT changes, and it's all going to tie together as well when I explain this. So Fenrir system, like I said, that was its intent, I think, was to prevent cheaters and make it harder to RMT. Now, there's a lot of controversy with Fenrir system because a lot of people are like, well, dude, it's a good system because it makes it so you value your life. That is pretty true. It makes Tarkov more engaging in terms of wanting to survive. As before, Tarkov was very easy for a lot of veteran players who knew how to play the game and make YouTube content. I'd be like, hey guys, look, you can make 2 mil rubles an hour doing this. And once you know how to make money in this game, you completely lose the value in your life. Now, a lot of people like that Fenrir added that value back, which is kind of cool. I understand that, but I do think it sacrificed a lot of the core game mechanics and a lot of the experience that you get with it, alongside all the RMT changes as well. So that was a big argument with that. People obviously are for it because it made you want to value your life more, which is completely fine, and I understand that. But honestly, I think it's actually made it a lot worse, and I will explain why and stuff in a second. But yeah, so the Fenrir system basically made it so if you found a LEDX, you had to survive the raid in order to sell that LEDX on the flea market. Now, that is great for when you find it, but what does that do to a raid? Now, in my opinion, I think this can ruin a raid because, as you guys know, Tarkov's a very, like, route-specific game. If you are educated in this game, you know where players spawn, you know the loot spawns, you've watched YouTube videos, you've watched streamers do this and that. You're going to know all of the min-max methods to navigate around a map and stuff like that, right? It's pretty easy to follow, and you're going to learn that very quickly by watching content creators. Now, the problem that arises with Fenrir system, let's hypothetically say I was in a raid on labs, or let's say interchange. I was on interchange, and I got the best spawn for interchange. And luckily, someone turned the power on, and I had Ultra Medical key. I went into Ultra Medical and got a LEDX, okay? I grabbed the LEDX, I grabbed the loot from inside the tech store, graphics cards, Tetrises, whatever, you know, all the good stuff. I grabbed that, I put it in my Gamma, and I, you know, avoid all the players. I get to the hole in the wall, and I extract, right? What happens to all the other guys on the map? Now, all of the other guys on the map now have instantly just lost all the value in those rare items. Not only one, for the fact that the guy's going to leave the raid, right? He's going to leave with that rare loot. But two, even if they did find him and killed him, it wouldn't matter because the item that he found that was rare and worth a lot would be inside his gamma anyway, causing more conflict to the raid, right? So instantly, you've just devalued the raid right there and then because that guy, even though it doesn't have the value that it had when it was found in raid, he still completely took that away from the raid, right, for everybody else. Now, that's just based on spawns. He got lucky, right? He got the best spawn. He didn't do anything wrong, but the system allows him to do these cheesy mechanics that can also ruin the raid for everybody. Now, what that's a bad thing is if John spawns over at Emicon and turns the power on, and Steve spawns right next to front Ollie and can just run in and go grab the LEDX and the graphics card, put it in his container, and then either leave or die. It doesn't matter. He's still in the profit, right? So you get the point. It ruins the raid for everybody. And Tarkov is a lot about just rushing to the high tier loot spawns or doing your quests. And if you are a PvPer, that also includes that too. PvPers are going to go straight to where the high-tech loot spawns are because that's exactly where the players are going to be. So that's a big problem with the Found and Raid system. Now, as before, this issue was a thing too. Before the Found and Raid system, you could go grab a LEDX, put it in your gamma. If you died, you were like, whatever, I can list it on the flea market. It's still worth 1 million rubles. That's cool. Now, that's a good thing and a bad thing. One, it's good because you're making money. You always feel like you're getting a W. But two, you are still taking that ruble away from the person in the raid and that experience of fun and LEDX. Now, let me explain to you how it could be, right? Let's say you couldn't put that LEDX in your container, right? Yes, it's going to be horrible if the cheater finds you because you need it for a quest and he kills you. Yes. Super unlucky because you're not going to be able to gamma it and take it away from you. He's going to see it on his ESP or whatever, and you're going to die and it's going to make you feel like shit. True. But what happens in the situation where you got the worst spawn and you managed to stumble upon the guy that found the LEDX, but because he can't put that LEDX in his container and you kill him and you need it for your quest and it spawns in his pockets, what's going to happen? The raid's going to feel way better because then you've just killed a high value target with something that you really need and it hasn't taken anything away from the raid. So that's a thing that I think would have been way better back in the day for the Found and Raid system. I remember saying to my chat, it's a sore subject because one day I used to be a new player in this game and I remember a long time ago Clean mentioned nerfing containers. And when I was new to Tarkov, I thought it was a stupid idea. But now that I'm experienced in the game and I've seen it change a lot more and I understand things now, it actually wasn't a bad idea at all. But because I was new, I was under the assumption that streamers said bad thing. Take away this container. I can't make money from my container anymore. Why did I buy EOD? You know what I mean? I had that mindset, but now I understand. It was actually for the benefit of the game, and I think it would have positively benefited Tarkov more if they nerfed containers back then. So this is the premise, right? You can bring anything you want inside your container, anything, but you cannot put the high value, rare items, quest items, and stuff like that in your container because it obviously, one, it ruins a raid, and two, the whole raid just feels different for yourself as well. You feel stressed. You want to leave the raid straight away. You don't want to, experience the raid and like actually try and survive it. You just want to leave straight away and not kill stuff, which is kind of just a bad way to play in my opinion. It's just super weird. You get what I mean, right? So like, say you killed that guy and he had the LEDX in his pocket because he can't gamma it and you found it. You're like, dude, what the? I found a LEDX. This guy found a LEDX. You're going to feel rewarded. It's going to be super satisfying. And it's vice versa. Obviously, the trade-offs are there, right? The wins are way bigger, but the losses are way worse. You're going to feel that better. But that's what Tarkov's all about, man. Tarkov's a game that punishes you so much. And even the smallest little win is what makes the losses that you've had irrelevant to that one small win. And that's the game that we play. And that's why we love Tarkov so much, right? And it also ties into stuff like, most people in this game, once they get max traders, not talking for everybody, by the way, but most people in Tarkov, once they get max traders, which I know a lot of you guys will agree with this, I say it on my stream quite a lot. Once you get max traders, you pretty much get bored and stop playing. Now, that's just a flaw in the system. Now, back when I played before, Tarkov wasn't really about just getting max traders and quitting the game. It was more about getting max traders, working for Kappa Container because it was something that was rare and it was kind of cool to achieve. Then there was the tracksuit that was an optional thing that you could grind as well because it was kind of a cool thing to achieve and it was a bit of a grind and it was fun. And then the main part of the game, dude, was just PvPing, man. A lot of people just liked to shoot people, man. People wanted to get an M4 out, had no recoil, and shoot players. People wanted to get out a HK, shoot players, an UMP, a SMG, a sniper rifle, a bolt action, a semi, a shotgun. People just wanted to shoot players and have fun PvPing on a map where there's lots of loot that you can pick up, feel rewarded. That's what was the beauty of old Tarkov, and I think Tarkov has lost that along the way. Now, I know it kind of got off topic, but it does relate to the game. Now, how it relates to the game is this, right? The loot. straight away, if you go play any other map, I'm not saying the loot is bad. You can make 400k, you can make 300k. You can make money, decent money on any map. But the problem arises is when you go to a map like Laboratories, which costs you money to get into, by the way, and you also need keys that are, one, are extremely rare to buy, and two, cheaters farm them like crazy. So even if you did find one, you're probably going to die to a hacker before you find one anyway. And three, even if you get in those rooms to loot that high tier item, dude, there's only like one spawn on the map. It's like you're not going to really get... There's not going to be enough loot in the map for the entire lobby to get a ton of gear. Now, Tarkov had that before, right? You'd load into a raid, there'd be loot everywhere. You could make decent money just picking anything up. You kind of still can with small items, but it's nothing to the extent that it was. And that also takes away from the experience as well for everybody. And the main reason for that, I think, is because BSG wanted to nerf loot so hackers couldn't farm it and sell rubles as more effectively, etc., etc. And I think it's just taken away from the experience, man. And I think it's starting to show up now in the game. As you see, people are bitching and complaining, but it's warranted, man. The game doesn't feel as fun as it used to be, and it's because there's a lot of reasons behind it. Loot being one of the biggest things. Now, let me give you another example, right? Streets of Tarkov, great map. I love it. I've been playing it a lot. I'm privileged enough to have a PC that is capable to run it in high performance. Very few people have that privilege, and it sucks. Now, that's not my fault. That's just the way the game is and the optimization, and eventually, hopefully, it'll be better. The map's great, and it's got a shit ton of loot, man. If you go play it, out of all the other maps, Streets has a ridiculous amount of loot. Now, this is a trend that BSG have followed for a long time. Every time they bring out a new map, the map is jacked up with loot, which makes people want to play it, and I do think it's intentional by BSG that they do this, and I think it's cool. And it makes a lot of people go there. If you guys remember Reserve, when Reserve came out, probably one of the best maps in the game at that time. It was actually super fun. Had low frames, you know, but it was super fun. You could find loot every building. It was juiced up non-stop, and the PvP and the interaction that you would go through, and just the flow of the raids was there, man. That's a big thing that people are forgetting too. Loot adds massive amounts of flow to raids. Currently in Tarkov, on most maps that you play, the loot path is very linear, right? Buy said key. You load into raid with your homie, pop some stimulants, run directly to a spot where the high tier loot is, grab it and leave, because if you don't leave, you'll die and it will lose the Fen and raid status. This ties back into the Fen and raid system. It makes you want to leave raids, it causes raids to be more dead, and it causes the raids not to have flow, man. Like it's super lame. Like if you had a LEDX, bro, or you had something decent and you died with it, it didn't matter because it was in your container, you could sell it in the flea market. Now, like I said, that would be something that would need to change, and at the end of this video, we'll have a solution to that. And you know, BSG probably won't listen to this video, and this video might go nowhere, but I just wanted to share my thoughts on this because I've had this feeling for like 2 years now, and now we're at the point where I feel like this video needed to be made. I know I'm rambling, and it's a rant video, but this is kind of what it's supposed to be, you know, the video. I think you guys get the point with that side of things. But yeah, back to the loot. So on map, so, you know, Streets comes out, map is jacked up with loot, but then you go play every other map in the game and the loot is terrible, right? And I know some people are going to be like, nah, dude, I make 600k, I make $1 million on my run. Yeah, you do, bro. And that's fine. That's great. But I'm talking as a collective, as the whole map for everybody. If you have a full rate of 10 people loading in, only Billy and Joe are going to make fucking good money because they're running straight to the rare loot spawns and leaving straight away. You know what I mean? Now, yes, you can go loot jackets and spend 20 odd minutes picking up bolts and stuff like that and just, you know, these weird items. But when you're at that point, you're just avoiding every other player anyway, and that ruins the raid for everyone, right? You're not getting those interactions that you used to have, which is what make Tarkov special. Maybe I'm twisted. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think in the description. But like I said, when I was playing before, bro, the way I saw the game and the way it flowed was amazing. And this all ties into the Fen and raid system and the RMT restrictions at some point. Like, dude, you load into a raid, right? You get shit on, you die, whatever. You buy a new loader, you run it back. You have some struggles, you go do a scav run, you get some loot, you run it back. You buy some keys, you load into a raid. There's loot everywhere. You go to the high value loot spawns. If you do that, there's going to be PvP. It's going to be super fun. If you're a good PvP player, like many streamers are, kill them, you grab their stuff, you sell it in the flea market. I just want to give you an example of this. I want you guys to go into Landmark's YouTube channel, go watch his old videos. A lot of the mechanics that are in that video, like bringing item cases into raid and stuff, are part of the experience, man. They were amazing, dude. Just being able to bring in this mass amount of loot that's the risk for reward. Go back and watch one of his old videos on Labs, just as an example, and you'll see what I'm talking about, man. That's what Tarkov has lost along the way due to RMT restrictions and the Fen and raid system. I feel as if the game has been built around cheaters, and it's not that the intent is bad, it's just the execution, and no one says anything. it's only going to get worse and worse. And I'll be honest with you, man, I love streaming Tarkov and making content for it. But as you can see through the community and streamers, when your top streamers are stopped playing in the game because of these things, it's starting to take a toll, right? And you can see it. Like, people are negative, man. People don't want to be negative. Tarkov's a negative game already. But these changes cause that negativity. And the only way you get around that is by speaking about it, making solutions, and stuff like that, you know? And I do think that is something that is starting to take a massive toll on everybody, especially in the previous wipes. Like, last wipe was probably the worst wipe I've ever played. Now, if you're a new player, you're going to disagree with me because, you know, you're new to Tarkov. The experience is fresh. And that's cool, man. I'm glad you had a good time. But if you're a veteran seasoned player and you've been around for a while, you start to see all the cracks, the problems, right, in wipes like that, especially when they got no content. Now, another hot take here for you. I think Tarkov, when it was before, I think Tarkov is the type of game that doesn't even need new content added to make it feel fun and fresh every single wipe. I truly believe that. I think, bro, BSG could add zero content, zero changes if the game was the way it used to be. Like, I remember, man, I would sit there for like 7 to 10 hours a day, play labs 24/7 for months and months, years, dude. And you can go back and watch my streams and see that. And it wasn't just me. There was many other streamers that would do this. Landmark himself would stream for 12 hours a day of only labs. And he's like the, you know, CEO of Tarkov, same as Pestilly. These guys would be on all the time because it was fun, it was entertaining, the content was 10 out of 10. It would never get boring, man. There was always something new to do. And I'm a true believer in that new content isn't necessarily needed to make a game great. Now, that brings to my other point with this is I think Tarkov needs more quality of life changes rather than new content. And it's not that new content is bad. Like I said, Streets is amazing, but I can already start to see in my raids that many people aren't really playing Streets because of performance issues, the invisibility glitch, and it's becoming I think for a lot of people it's become more of a job playing the game rather than actually enjoying it. And like I said, it's very negative, man. Tarkov's become a very negative community, and it's not that people want to be negative. It's just when there's so many negative aspects around the game, kind of just like, you know, latches on, I guess. Shout out to people that stay positive. You know, I try my best to stay positive as much as I can, but at the same time, I try and be real and just say how it is, you know, because I think that's why a lot of people like watching me. But you know, there's no bad intent there. BSG have done a good job. They made a great game, but I do think they are losing their track, a direction a little bit in terms of the game. Like I said, I think they built the game around cheaters right now, and I think it's showing. So, sorry for that massive rant, man. It's gonna, you know, this video's something I wanted to make it, but I didn't really want to make it because, you know, it's kind of like me just ranting, and it sounds like I'm bashing the game, but I'm not, man. I'm super passionate about Tarkov, dude. It's changed my life, man. I love it, and I know it's changed many other people's lives, but I do think after my 3 years of playing this game, I have some valid criticism to give, or guidance, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I've experienced a lot of what's changed over the years with this game, and you know, as a streamer, when it's your income and you start to see things, and you're like, oh, well, maybe that's why people aren't interested anymore in the game. So yeah, I hope you guys understand with the rant side of stuff. All right, next, let's talk about. So we touched on the Inferno raid system. That's pretty much the premise of it. You know, it ties into a lot of things. Now, content creation, bro, right? Most of you guys that watch YouTube and watch Twitch, you're wanting to watch to be entertained. Now, that could be to watch a streamer that's funny, that's just good at the game, like Landmark. You know, also Landmark's funny, by the way. Not bashing. I'm just saying, Landmark's one of the streamers that you watch because he's good at the game. Like, people love Landmark because he's known for being good at Tarkov. He always has. He's always been the guy at the top. If you think of someone that's good at Tarkov, you think of Landmark, right? Then you got streamers like Vonzer or Bake Easy, right? These guys are like, they're hilarious. They say stupid stuff. They're a little bit toxic. You know, to me, that's what I find funny in a streamer. Obviously, I played the game a lot. Now, if we went back 3 years, I'd be still watching Landmark right now because I used to love watching the PvP, man. Just the non-stop aggressive PvP 24/7, just the whole raid, the game just flowed amazingly, man. And that's where those streamers for me shined, and I love watching. Nowadays, I don't really watch streamers for that anymore. I just watch streamers that are funny and, you know, go through the surfer in a Tarkov and, you know, just fuck around, man. It's kind of a shame that that's the only thing that I can watch through Tarkov nowadays, and it's not because I'm burnt. Like, dude, I could stream this game so much more if there was, like, more incentive for, like, end-game PvP on Labs. But Labs is a whole topic. I'd love to cover it in this video, but I've already made a video on Labs, and I'm hoping BSG acknowledges it. But Labs is an absolute shithole, bro. We could make a whole different video for Labs and how to fix it. But yeah, I wanted to keep this strictly to Inferno raid. But yeah, you get the point, man. Content creation, dude. People are there to be entertained, and I'm not saying you guys aren't being entertained, but if you disagree with me, I want you to go back, watch one of Landmark's old videos on Labs, and tell me that wasn't some of the most fun you've seen in a raid before. And you know why? Because there was no RMT restrictions, there was no Inferno raid, and you could do whatever you wanted, and you could play with your homies, you could drop your homies some helmets, you could give your friend your entire stash, be like, hey man, look, I'm gonna go on vacation, I won't be playing, do you want my stuff? You could do that without risk of being banned. Now that leads into another thing. Right now there's a lot of false bans going on in the game. People are getting banned, streamers are getting banned for taking viewer kits. Pestily just made a video on it. It's a fine line where people are just like, we don't know. If I give my guy 2 rounds of BP, he could get banned. If I play with a guy that gives me a vest full of ammo and I die in the raid when he's given it me and some random dude comes in and picks it up and he gets banned for RMT, that's a possibility as well, right? It's a very, very shitty situation to be in at the moment. All of this, dude, just stems from Fen and raid system, man. Like all this drama, dude. The Fen and raid system is just a flawed system. I will leave my solution in a minute. I just wanted to keep talking and I guess a little bit of rant. Just so you guys can understand my perspective. But yeah, man, I feel like Fen and raid system and the RMT restrictions have really, really hindered the content creation side of Tarkov. Like I said, man, you go watch any Tarkov streamer, man. I'm not flaming, but other than early wipe, mid to late wipe, there's no real content, man. Raids are dead. Streamers are like complaining, you know, like even myself, oh, where's the players? There's no one to shoot. It's mostly just killing new players at the mid to end wipe, and I think that's just terrible for the game. Before, the raid, like Tarkov would definitely fall off a little bit, but the game was fun in terms of just PvP. People be wanting to be on just to fight. Kill somebody, grab their gear, sell it on the flea market, run it back. That's what the Tarkov experience was. And now I do think with all the new mechanics that we got, like inertia, the weight system, the gun mechanics, the armor changes and ammo changes, the list goes on with all these cool features that we've received in the past 2 years. I do think if we're able to actually like PvP again like we used to be before and could sell people's gear on a flea market again, I think the game would probably be like 10 out of 10, man. Honestly, even with all the cheaters. Because let's be honest, boys, cheaters are always going to win. They're in every single game. If you take a look at any other game that's got an online economy, RuneScape, World of Warcraft, Destiny 2, any of these games that have an online community, man, they're infested with RMTers and gold trading and all that shit. And the one thing they don't do is try and fix it because they know they can't. It's a never-ending battle. Just like you can never fix cheaters. They're always going to be one step ahead. They're always going to win. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't try and do something about it, which I commend BSG for trying. But I'm just here to say that I think you messed up big time. I think Fen and raid system was a massive L. And the RMT restrictions that are coming with it are a combination of the Fen and raid system as well. And you've built it around that. And you're building a game for cheaters now. And it's not for players. We love your game. We want it to be better. And I personally think, if I were you, BSG, if you are watching this video, it's not to bash you. Try for 1 week. Disable Fen and raid system. Disable the RMT changes. See how positively it will affect the game compared to what we have now. We've got some great changes in these past few wipes. See what happens. Let us sell player gear on the market again. Let's just see what happens if you did do that. I don't even know what to say, man. I'd love to log on one day and see that change because I know that the game would be better. And it's not because I've got an ego or anything. I've been there when the game was that point. And I think now with all the new content, bro, if you just did it as a test, just for a week, a test, an event, whatever you want to call it, just try it. Remove Fen and raid system. Remove RMT restrictions. See how positively it will affect the game. And for the guys that disagree with me in this video, if that did happen and you try it, I could guarantee you would love the experience, man. I'm telling you, it's a whole different game. That's what most of us fell in love with Tarkov with. And now I feel like a lot of us are still playing the game. We love it. But we're playing a shell of what we used to play. And it's because the game has been built around cheaters and preventing real money trade. Yeah, man, I'm not trying to be a dick. BSG's made a great game. I'm super grateful for the position I'm in. I still love waking up every day and streaming Tarkov. I do love it. I know it sounds like it doesn't. I don't, but I do. You know, I'm just picking out the pieces of the game that I don't love, right? And I think this is not just for me, but I think for the majority of the community. Let's move on to like the keys, okay? We're gonna move on to keys right now. The key restrictions I think are ridiculous, right? Like I don't know. Let's say you know. Your friend needs to do a quest in some dorms. He needs the mark key. No, they have changed it so you can buy the mark key, but there's many other keys on the game that you can't buy that suffer this restriction. BSG did a great change this wipe and removed the 30% tax and makes it so you can actually make money off keys now, which is great. But like, you can't drop a key to your homie, a spare key. And that was probably a massive change that a lot of people didn't like. And I didn't think it was the worst thing in the world because it did make the experience a little bit more hardcore. But I do think it really hurt the player base a lot. And I think it's just going to continue to do that. And that's just another RMT restriction, man. Like, if you go on raid right now, you can't drop more than 4 stimulants because people buy stimulants for RMT to sell on the flea market, or to sell on the traders for real life money. And at the end of the day, man, like, think about it. Cheaters are cheating because they're cheating. They're going to win regardless. No matter what restriction you put in, they will find a way around. They will put a loophole. They will find a way to win with real life trading or whatever. Sure, you can make it harder for them, but they're always going to win. And it's like, even just for cheaters that cheat on the game to kill players, man, they can just get new accounts for $5 and do the same thing again. Like, banning them doesn't really do anything if they know what they're doing when they're cheating. They can just buy accounts of cheat and run it back and ruin the experience. And that is what is happening with the RMT restrictions. A lot of these cheaters now, because they can't RMT as easy, to me, it looks like the rage hacking is worse than ever. Because I think what happened is, I think it's a spiral effect, right? So this is how I see it in my head. I think because these guys are having a harder time to real money trade, the hackers, instead of like just selling the rubles like through the flea market, making it easy, they're just going into raids and intentionally sabotaging the raids. They're carrying people around the map, doing carry services, destroying the whole experience of every player in there. And that kind of like snowballs into an effect where every other player that is suffering from that is like, well, oh, everyone else is in this rage cheating, then why shouldn't I cheat? It's kind of like that mindset, I guess. Obviously, it's a stupid mindset to have, but people have it, man. People buy rubles, for fuck's sake, man. People are always going to have that mindset. And that's the problem, right? I think RMT changes, the restrictions, the fan and raid system, every time they add more restrictions, it's just encouraging hackers to cheat more, and it's encouraging more genuine buy cheats themselves and pay. Now, that's, you know, it's fucked up, but I think that's the reality of what's happening right now. I think most of you guys would agree with me saying that. In my experience, that's what I've seen in my raids, and it's just never been worse. Now, Battle.eye and anti-cheat is another topic. Now, I'm probably just going to move on now. There's a lot more I could speak about, but I feel like I've rambled quite a bit here. My solution, okay? I'm not saying this is going to fix the game. I'm not saying BSG is going to listen to me, but this is what I would do, okay? So first of all, gamma container, beta container, epsilon container, kappa container. All of these containers, I would make it so you cannot put any high-value item, any quest item in these containers, all right? This is what should have happened years ago before Fen and Raid was added to solve the hatchet runner. This is going to lead into another thing. Someone mentioned this in my chat today. Well, Tigz, if you put all the rare, if you make it so people can't bring rare loot into, put rare loot inside their container, then they're just going to extract camp and raid shit because that's what people like to do, and that's what it will cause. My solution to that: more extractions. Put one more extraction on a map. It's going to make extract camping way harder for people to do, because you are right. You make it so people can't put you know, good loot inside their container. People are going to start doing cheesy shit like camping extracts, and it's going to make it really, really annoying. Problem solved to that is just make extractions. Like we mentioned earlier, it's going to suffer. You're going to feel horrible more when you get cheated on because you can't put something rare in your container. But like, boys, let's face it, man. If you need money in this game, just do your scav, bro. You'll hardly see any cheaters. And if you are down bad, which by chance that you are down bad, you're probably not experienced at the game enough yet to make money. I'm not saying you're a bad player. You're just probably not skilled enough or got enough game knowledge. Just go do your scav, man. Literally. Scav is built for you to go make money. I do think that would benefit the game a lot more. So that's the first thing. Nerf containers massively. You will fix hatchet runners straight away. If there's extract campers and it's causing big issues, add more extractions to map. You could do loads of different things, extractions, if you wanted to prevent extract camping as well. Second thing, remove the fen and raid system completely. Make a new system. Don't let the PvP side of the game, which is like the biggest part of the game in my opinion, suffer because of cheaters. It's pretty much like what makes Tarkov in my opinion, and it's what keeps Tarkov alive past mid to end game. It's the content creation in the game. It's the fun. It's those interactions. It's the feeling of being overwhelmed because there's 5 men in front of you and you've got something cool on you, you know. Just remove the system, man. Like, imagine if you fought, you know, a 4-man, killed all of them, grab their loot and sell it on the flea market. You're like, damn, dude, I'm pretty good at this game. I feel rewarded for being good and killing a 4-man. I was outnumbered, I killed them, and now I can sell their loot on the flea market. Now, sure, you could keep it in your stash, but like, how many times is that really happening where you're killing a 4-man and you're feeling like that? You're not, because the game is built so harshly against you. So yeah, that's my solution. RMT restrictions, maybe some of them could stay. I don't really know which ones could stay, in my opinion, but I would honestly just scrap all of them. If you guys think there is any RMT restrictions that are good, maybe keep them. But in my opinion, I would just scrap them anyway, because like I said, I'm on the side that cheating in video games and real money transfer in video games will never be something that you can control. And if you do try and control it, it will ruin the experience for everybody but the cheaters, because they are cheating for a reason. That is what they're going to do. They're going to win every single time. No matter what you do, they're going to cheat. They're going to win. That's why they're doing it. So yeah, that's my point on that. I commend BSG for trying, but dude, there's other ways. Now, a solution for other ways. As you guys know, Trey just made Train Clean made a anti-cheat Discord that cooperates with the devs to send reports of cheaters that gets reviewed between like 3 different teams. and then it gets sent off to devs to be reviewed. It's a cool system. I hope it does well, but personally, I don't think this is the way forward. A community-driven anti-cheat shouldn't be a thing in 2023 in gaming, especially for a company as big as BSG. BSG have made massive amounts of money over the past few years. They've been super successful. Obviously, I don't know all the ins and outs of what goes into their business, but one thing's for certain, they've made a killing, and I think they've done a great job when it comes to financials. I could be wrong on that, but from what I've seen, I think they've been killing it, man. And that's a good thing for business. So hopefully they can reinvest some of that money into something more aggressive against the cheaters and not building the game around cheaters. Now, solution, personally, I think a profile viewer should be in the game from the get-go, man. You should be able to type in someone's name, click right-click, view profile. You jump on that profile, at the bottom right, there should be a box, report suspicious player. If that player has a 90% survival rate with a 900 KD, he's obviously cheating his ass off, right? Now, I've got I've got a screenshot of that I could show you of a guy last wipe that had a 600 KD. He had Kappa, he had tracksuit, and he did 1,500 raids, 600 KD, and had a 92% survival rate. And the guy that sent me that screenshot told me he was rage cheating the entire wipe and never got banned. Now, if profile viewing was in this game, it would spread like wildfire in the community. That guy would get banned so fast because the devs would be forced to look at it and get him gone. Now, coding-wise, I don't know how much it would take time to make a profile viewer built into the game. I don't think it would be much because this is a thing in like a lot of games, like World of Warcraft and, you know, COD. You can view people's profiles, the stats and stuff like that. Now, you are going to bring into it witch hunts and, you know, false accusations. But if the dev team is smart enough to manage this, it shouldn't be an issue. Now, as you've seen, some streamers have been banned, which is clearly BSG's fault. And if you guys remember, Rengar got a guy banned, and no flame to Rengar, but obviously it was something that was like unfortunate. I've been in situations like what Rengar was in that situation where I've called someone a cheater, and I've been in the wrong. And, you know, I'm lucky enough not to be in a position where Rengar got flamed for it. Now, it was the wrong thing to do. He acted in haste. That's a whole different subject. But these things wouldn't happen if the devs actually would take the time to look into things rather than just being like, oh, streamer said this. Here's a clip that looks sus. Oh, just ban him, right? Now, if you could view that guy's profile, that's another step to confirming if that guy was a gamer. It's like, I don't think people realize how easy it would be for blatant hackers to be spotted through a profile viewer. I don't know, this video is going on forever, but I could go on forever, man. There's so much to talk about. Obviously, then what happens is, you know, cheaters are going to start reducing their KD. But, like, dude, you're going to see it in raids. It'd be easy to spot. I do think that automatic stat ban should be a thing. This wipe, I found 2 players that were reducing their KD in labs, and they were known labs cheaters, and they were just killing themselves with a macro on labs non-stop. That's going to happen. But, like, you get the point, right? Add a profile viewer that we can all view so we can see if someone's blatantly rage cheating. Now, I want another thing, okay? I want you guys to go on the flea market right now, filter LEDXs, filter by trader rep, okay? Click any subcategory on the left, remove barter trade option. I want you to click where it says trade offer, right? At the top, you'll see trader rep, like 76. At the very top, you'll see like ID, offer, and then like rep or whatever. Click that one twice. And what it's going to do is it's going to filter the highest rep players on the flea market. Click that on each subcategory and see how many blatant cheaters there are on the flea market that are still not banned. I have been posting them on Twitter for a long time. They don't get banned until I'm like in a DM, in a dev's DM, just spamming him saying like, yo, dude, this guy's blatantly cheating. You know, there's LEDXs full of them on the flea market. Those guys don't get banned. And if there's a profile viewer, those guys will get caught way easier, man. Back to the Fen and Raid thing. You know, we got off tangent there, but you get the point. I don't know, man. I'm a streamer. I don't have all the solutions, but I do think removing Fen and Raid and all of the RMT restrictions would be a step in the right direction. And if you wanted to just test it for a week to see how it would go, I could guarantee you Tarkov would be a way bigger game on Twitch, a way better game for everybody to play, and a way less negative experience for everybody, man. The game would just be, it would flow so much better. I'm not saying cheaters will be solved. They're going to be there, man. You're going to die to them. We used to die to them back in the day. It's going to ruin some raids, but at least you don't have to feel as shit because of a system that is intended for cheaters, but it's affecting you even though the cheaters are getting away with it, right? All of the changes don't affect them, man. They really don't. Maybe they've reduced their RMT, but it's sacrificed a lot of the core experience for players to enjoy. And you're seeing that a lot now in the community and all of the talk. I feel like I've missed quite a bit of things here to like back up my points, but I'm not talking out my ass, man. Like I said, I've been here for a while. I've seen a lot of the changes, and I can promise you, hand on my heart, man, Tarkov was a way better game before Fen and Raid was added and before any of the RMT restrictions. It can get back to that point, but you've got to do a different system, man. Scrap the RMT system. Scrap the fin and raid system. Do something different. The anti-cheat, I don't know, man. Maybe that's just how it is, dude. Like, that's just games nowadays. Maybe they can't do much. Maybe BSG could pay for a better anti-cheat. They're going to win. But one thing's for certain, man. BSG's approach to the anti-cheat stuff and RMT, it's not nerfing the game and make it unenjoyable for the people that actually play the game. Got to do something else, because that's what you've been doing, man. You've just been hindering the game's feel, experience, and it's a shell of what it once was because of these changes. Now, I'm sorry for granting, boys, but this is the type of video I didn't want to make. I hope some of my points and some of the clips that you'll see in this video make sense. I love the game. I'm still going to stream it, keep making content. I love doing that. But I do think something needs to change. And hopefully I can be the stem that starts that. And I'm hoping more people start to realize what I'm saying. You know, you don't have to agree with everything I said. Like Pestily posted on my Twitter today that he pretty much agrees with almost everything. Not everything, but almost everything. When it comes to, like, you know, the core experience and all these restrictions. And yeah, man, the list goes on. Also, fix Labs, man. Labs needs a fix. It's an endgame map for endgame PvP with endgame loot. Has none of that right now. It's literally a job center for cheaters to make money in real life. And it's not cool for streamers. It's not cool for the players. It's not cool for the experience, man. Also, fix Kibber too. And Ultra Medical. And all the keyed rooms. And all the marked rooms. Because they have no loot. Because you remove them because of cheaters. And you still haven't fixed that. Sorry. Alright, that's the video, man. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It's definitely a different one. This is definitely a clean style video, ranting and stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys get my point. We love Tarkov. We want better for the game. And I'm hoping that something can be taken from what I've said in this video, man. I know a lot of streamer friends feel the same way as well. So thank you for watching the video. If you've stayed all the way to the end, I appreciate you, man. I do stream Tarkov every day. It's not always down and a negative subject. I love to mess around, man. I love hanging with the Tarkov community. My community, having a good time. Hope to see you over there on my Twitch channel. And BSG, I love you, man. You guys made a great game, and I wanted to see it get better. I'm super passionate about it, so please be considerate with what I'm saying, as well as many other streamers that care about your game. We love your game, man, and we better. And I do feel like it's getting worse. Changes. Thank you for watching, boys. I'll see you in the next video.